tried to make it work, and it will work, but it's not working at the moment. So we're going to have to pivot. So what was the self-service supposed to be? We would spend a load of money taking traffic to Rupert. They would then sign up, connect their accounts, see all their comments pull in, and they would then monitor and reply to those comments themselves. Apart from maybe asking the support team a couple of questions, it is a pure self-service model, exactly that. So that was the model. Rupert does work, and it still works for all of our clients that use the self-service model. But what we realised very quickly, and what I realised probably at the end of Q3, is that although we've given teams and brands the platform, they still weren't responding. We were emailing them, and we were notifying them via the platform. We were doing everything that we could have in our power. They still weren't doing it. So the model worked, the platform worked. The problem that we unearthed is that there was loads of sales opportunity, just huge amount of opportunities generally across their socials, and more importantly, the comment section, that they still weren't taking advantage of. So I've just come off a call with Brewdog, one of our clients for Rupert. They've been a client for probably 7-ish months now. And the problem with Rupert at the moment, although everyone loves the system, that's not an issue because actually our churn rate of 0 sort of showcases that. But these bigger companies, people of sort of Brewdog's ilk, just don't have the time or the bandwidth or the resource to actually go into the system and start responding to all these comments and deal with the sales opportunities and all the the customer service questions. It comes down to time again. Not only time, whose responsibility is it? And obviously when customers are asking for help, that's a real sign that brands should be doing something about this. So although Rupert's still quarantining comments and protecting and safeguarding the brand, again 24/7, which is a huge win for them, customers' questions, customer service questions, sales opportunities are still being missed. Even with a system like Rupert helping them, which is even more frustrating. And that's really the massive reason for the pivot, I guess, is people are just missing them, and it's really frustrating. That's why we want to tackle this problem head on. We don't just want to be a SaaS platform that deals with half the problem. We want to unearth issues and sales opportunities. We don't want it just to be noise in the background that no one can hear. We actually want to really pull it forward and showcase the opportunities that are being missed, how they can really engage their brand. It's not because the brands don't want to respond. It's not that they don't want to build communities. They just don't have the resource internally. And it doesn't matter if you're a Brewdog or if you're a small garden centre down the road. The reality is very few brands put it as a line item in their budget. That's the problem we're going to tackle.
What is changing?
Lots changing. Rupert is still being Rupert. We're still working on it. We're still developing the platform. For those that don't want to do it themselves, we now have an offering which is called Rupert Connect. Now, typically this is going to be for larger brands who receive maybe a lot of comments, or they've got a really high ticket item value product or service, and it makes sense to not miss an opportunity when it comes to the comment section. So again, it could be someone that's got a huge brand equity in their space, e-commerce brand that's spending a lot on paid social and get a lot of comments, or like I said, it might be a brand that's got a very, very high lifetime value or average order value that they can't miss a trick. So we're not sort of replacing the do-it-yourself model. That is still there and it's still being worked on, and that is still going to be where we drive a lot of traffic to. We've just started our email marketing campaigns. We're sending, it will be 340,000 a month, which is huge. We are sending them to Rupert, the SaaS platform or the self-serve model. But obviously in the addition, those that want support and those that we feel we can really show a commercial gain for them, we're then going to them and saying, look, can we at least pitch to you? We can manage your comments for you. We've had 7 conversations in the last 10 days, and every single one of them has been positive. I've got Pure Sports later today. I think that'll be a really positive conversation. In truth, someone like Pure Sports are actually very good at responding to comments, but I still think there's still a huge commercial gain that can be had when it comes to Rupert Connect, because although we're talking about just responding, one of the services that we're going to create within Rupert Connect, which we're already building at the moment, is a 90-day workflow. If you think about an email flow, you create a database of people that are in market for your product or service, and then within a 90-day period, you'll periodically send them emails. What we're gonna do is the same on social. So someone makes a comment, let's use Maya Master's Ice Bath. I'm interested in ice bath, have you got any discounts? Something of that nature. Typically, a brand would just respond once, and the reply would be, hey, great, you're interested in our ice bath, here's a link. That's it then, it's dead. Well, what if we then respond again to that comment a number of times within a 90-day period? So it might be a week later, hey, here's a link to our YouTube account, and here's a specific video on how to get the best of your health using an ice bath. 3 weeks later, how is your ice bath getting on? Again, asking for feedback. Have you done it yet? What's the longest you've been on there? Did you know that the experts say you can't be in an ice bath for more than 3 minutes to get optimal advantage from it? Then it might be a week later. Oh, did you know we've now got massage guns, which are actually on discount at the moment? Here's a link. But the amazing thing with this is it's not a one-to-one interaction. So when you look at SMS, when you look at email, or even ads in some respect, it's a one-to-one. You're trying to engage that one user. The nice thing with this is we're not just doing a one-to-one, we're doing a one-to-many, because everyone will be able to see that interaction. So if someone's sitting on the fence pondering, do I use this brand or do I use a competitor? And they start seeing that you're adding value by, here's a link to this, or did you know this can work as well? And you can really see them educating their market and their audience. That is going to be massive. So we're building that out at the moment. The initial results we've had for clients is great. And that's one of the conversations I'll be having later with Pure Sports, where it's like, the responding for what you're actually doing is fine, although you're only doing probably 66% of them. Actually, what about if we take these people or this audience down a comment flow as we're talking, and actually start engaging not only that one particular user, but all of these lurkers that are sitting there just watching how you interact with your audience. No one can do this because no one has the tech, and you couldn't do it manually. It's totally impossible to do this manually. So although we've been sort of a year down the line going, God, this has been difficult and all the rest of it, actually when you look at what we're now building because of all the data that we've had over the last year, suddenly this becomes a very exciting proposition for brands. But there is still a place for Rupert, the platform, because we've still got churn rate of 0, right? No one's left us still to this day. It's incredible. What it does is fantastic, and there's still a place for it. It's a low ticket cost item, and any brand in the UK or throughout the world can use it, which is fantastic. This is alongside, and this is in addition, and again, for those brands that A, can afford it, because obviously it's not £89 a month, and it's for brands that can really see the value in responding and engaging their community and audience.
So it costs more, but they're getting a lot more for that money.
Yeah, because every single comment that we respond to will be managed by a human. So although Rupert will be doing a lot of the hard lifting, the 10% on top is a human making sure everything is reviewed before it's submitted. And we'll have certain SLAs, so I think one of them for Pure Sports and Brewdog is we'll respond to every comment within a 60-minute period. Amazing. They couldn't do that currently with their teams in-house. It gives us more options. What it does allow us to do is to generate more revenue quicker with fewer customers. The nice thing with this is that we are not competing at the moment with anyone. Yes, obviously there's community management businesses out there. What they can't compete with is what we're offering here. It aligns better with those brands because they're going, well, you're not just actually managing our community. Again, you're doing all the things around the comment flow that we just discussed. But for us, more revenue, less customers, but it's one less things for the companies then to think about. When we're having conversations with brands that maybe don't have the income or the budget to use Rupert Connect, we then have a downsell, which actually, if you think of it, it'll be a lot more palatable than £5 a month to £89. It's like, well, that's fine, we'll just do it. But also there's an upsell opportunity. So if you look at someone like Pure Sport, Daniel created an account. I've then called him. We've upsold him obviously because he had more comments, so we had to upsell him anyway. But now potentially if he goes to Rupert Connect, there's a perfect journey there of how someone's interacted with us or found our content on LinkedIn, which is great. Free trial, client, bigger client, and let's say they do sign up for £5 a month. How incredible is that? But also there'll be brands that we upsell, then they lose budget and we can downsell them again on Rupert.
You don't lose them entirely. So
we don't lose them. And this is, I'm a big fan of trying to extract value from everywhere you can. So rather than just saying no all the time, with what we're doing here, the answer is yes, we can take money from them and also add value to them in every which way. Sometimes you've just got to take a step back and go, is this working? And that's when obviously we've looked at it and gone, this isn't sustainable long term. And there's loads of brands that have done this. Look at people like Netflix. You just get the DVD through the letterbox. A prime example. Was it successful? Absolutely yes, but obviously they could see people moving away from that sort of physical media to, we want instant access, and obviously with the on-demand stuff, content as well going. So they could have kept going. The market's not going to change. Well, no, they needed to adapt. And again, another James Sinclair is, if you don't evolve, you evaporate. Although we could have kept going, no, I'm right, and we're going to keep doing this. Sometimes you have got to just sort of, not so much swallow your pride, but just go, how are we going to make the dent we want to make? You know, we did it for a full year last year, and then we've got so much data now to look at and go, okay, well, has and hasn't worked, and what's the best route to market, and how are we going to get the best revenue for us, but also the best for our clients. You look at Netflix now, I don't think anyone bemoans Netflix from going from DVD to streaming, right? It's a really clear example of someone who's pivoted and have not just elevated to their wildest dreams, they've surpassed that and become very successful. And that's from just looking at the market conditions and the user behaviour, and then coming up with a new solution, which is exactly what Rupert Connect is. What I love about this pivot is that it's not going to be right for every client, because not everyone has the revenue to be able to invest to outsource their community management. But what's really exciting is actually the ones that do have the means, it's going to absolutely change the game for them. Again, that's why we're doing this. Yeah, you know, this wasn't my idea. I didn't really want to go down the managed service route. But as always, you've got to follow the data. Yes, it means that we're going to have to change quite dramatically our roadmap in terms of the development of Rupert, what we do moving forward, but it is what's best for not only us, but actually for our clients as well. What I didn't want to do is keep trying to knock the door down of bigger brands and keep failing because we didn't have the right offer. Whereas now we can prove the ROI and show that revenue, which is obviously going to really bring up different conversations within different teams of brands. I think now we've nailed what Rupert Connect is, and it's taken 3 months to get there. Definitely think it will just fly. A lot more leads for clients. It means that we can charge our customers more, as we've touched on. But in return, it's a mutually beneficial partnership. They get loads more, we get loads more. They get insights and data and revenue and reports that's really going to move their business forward. The conversations we've had over the last 7 days have been brilliant. There's a lot of excitement there. People going, God, you can do this now. Absolutely. So that's what I'm excited for. And I think we sort of end this chapter, as it were, with a lot of optimism and a less uncertainty, because I think at some point at the end of last year, I was uncertain as to where and how long we can continue at the rate we are. But actually with this new offering and the feedback we've had thus far, I think we should be all very optimistic in terms of where we'll be in the end of the year. Really, really exciting. We've still got a lot to go, but the pivot is now well and truly off and running.